it was perfect
Mm-hmm.
because it multiplied my passions
Yeah.
and then made my job that much stronger. Like the vision became fuller.
Yeah.
And so that's why I tell people that they don't know where they're going, but maybe this is a good option. Try it out
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know how that's going to fall in line for you later. Like
Yeah.
you're going to do great things. Just hold on. Just wait.
Welcome to the When I Grow Up podcast, where we talk about what people wanted to do when they grew up, what they do now, and how they got there. And today's guest, Dan, is going to be such a fun conversation. In fact, it may be a little longer than normal, but I hope you will stick it out because there is so much good in this conversation, from not only learning what he wanted to do when he grew up, but leading all the way to how his journey, he doesn't regret one step of the way. And so I cannot wait to share this with you. And I just want to get started. So let's dive in. Dan, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to just have this conversation with you because, I mean, I obviously know a little bit of your story, but not all of it. So I'm going to learn some stuff today too.
Exciting.
Yeah. First question I always ask everybody, just kind of a starter, a little teaser, is what is it that you wanted to do when you grew up?
So this is a funny story because it's nowhere near what I actually do for a living.
That's
I
okay.
wanted to be, get ready for it, not a fireman, not a policeman, an anesthesiologist. And so
I love it when
okay.
little kids pick really big name jobs. I talked to somebody who wanted to be a paleontologist, and I was like, well, that's also a very big word, but anesthesiologist. Okay.
And then a small part of me wanted to be a airplane pilot. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
a very small,
Go ahead.
very small, but the biggest thing was the anesthesiologist. And I think there was only 2 kids in our class. It was me and I think Dan Holmes was the other guy and
Uh-huh.
wanted to be anesthesiologist. So it was pretty neat. Very rare.
Where did that come from? That
I think
particular.
so. I think it was medical. Obviously, I wanted to help people. But then I like the idea of making good money, right? So financial security is really helpful. And I really like I don't know if I liked needles then, but I know that it sounded pretty easy just to give somebody some medication.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I thought that was attractive. The medical
Yeah.
field was attractive in general.
How old were you at the time that you had this dream?
So that was probably in high school. When I was a kid, it was like, I don't know, you just played and you had fun. And then you get through middle school and you're just trying to play sports. You don't think about an actual career to high school. What's my next step? Where am I going to go after this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell the listeners what you do now.
So I'm a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I own a private tattoo studio of 3 years. I have been in the industry for over 30. And I also opened and closed a beautiful shop. It was called Lucky Rabbit in Muncie, Indiana. And it was well recognized. And I was really thankful for that season of life. And now, since I'm a little older, I am officially downsizing rather, to a private tattoo studio. And I think that fits me very well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you love about that work?
It's hard to put into words. It's a lot. So their stories are I love to hear what they love, that gets me excited because that's what they are attracted to for their designs.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, I love this and I want to put this on my body. And so most people want that.
Yeah.
And I love that. I encourage that. It's like, let's go for that, every time. But their whys, their backstory, what happened to make this so important for you? What is it like if you got a flower for your dad? What was it that he taught you when you were little that sticks with you today? And so I get to hear some really beautiful stories from people. And besides the art, it's fulfilling.
Yeah. It's so funny to me because an anesthesiologist would literally know nothing about the person because they're knocked out. And so you have like you have the opposite end where you're like, you are on the table, but you're talking the whole time kind of thing.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think the social skill, the social factor is there because it's more engaging. You want to know like the depths of who they are, the depths of their heart. Where does this come from? Because you know that that's deeply satisfying to them to be vulnerable, to expose it to the world and be accepted and appreciated for who they are. So the whole time I'm thinking, how can I appreciate authentically the person that's sitting in front of me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm fortunate enough that you've done some of my tattoos. That's how we're connected in a lot of different ways, but I'm fortunate that I know that about you, that your passion comes from the space of not just, okay, cool, I'm doing a cool design, but it's what's the story behind it? Why did you want that in particular, and how do I turn that into something that matters to you, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because artwork is emotion in motion, right?
Yeah.
It makes you feel something. It's dramatic. It's overwhelming. It's something that you can hold on to in the middle of the night. It's, you know, it's your favorite toy amped up times 10 because it feels like it's with you every day. And so that's kind of the expression that I get from people is I kind of want this thing and I'm like, okay, let's go into the details. Tell me more about this. And then why is it meaningful? And then I actually end up getting the building blocks for the design through conversation and just them revealing who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'm also curious how you ended up in the world of tattoo artistry, because I always joke, like, usually where we end up, some part of us never thought we'd be there. But what was the path for you? What did it look like?
So at 16 years old, I'm an artist. In high school, I carry my sketchbook everywhere and I draw continuously. I also sent you a picture of me as a child
Yes. Yep.
drawing in my mom's lap or at the table. And I carried that through my life the entire time. So it's been this underlying thing, the talent that I'm given and how I use it today. But back then I never dreamed. I'm just like, well, starving artist, we're not going to make any money. It's a hobby, right? I'm
Mm.
going to be an anesthesiologist to make money. That's how it
Mhm.
works. And
Mhm.
so 16 years old, I had a friend of mine, her stepdad, who Jim Bryan is his name. He ended up doing a lot of just watching over my drawings and saying, "Hey, do you want to make a little extra cash on the side for me?" And I
Mhm.
said, "What you talking about, Willis? You know, what you talking about, Willis?"
Like,
And he's like,
what kind of
"Well,
thing can you give me for for
what you got up
for
your
my
sleeve?
art?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
Mhm.
tattoo artist. You could draw." And so the truth was, he was a spectacular flash artist, and he loved my creativity. And so for his custom clients, he would pay me $20 per design. And so I would take my friend, and we would go down to McDonald's and eat out and get a shake and fries, and that was good.
Uh-huh.
Life was good, and it eventually turned into. I never thought it would be an apprenticeship, to be honest with you. He had turned his nephew away, and I thought, oh, surely, like he's not going to train me. I'm
Uh-huh.
not even going to worry about that. And then he offered it. It's like I told him, I was like, I do not make a lot of money. I work at McDonald's, also my favorite place to eat.
Uh-huh.
I I just can't afford this. He goes, I'm going to teach you for free. You have the eye. And he says, you're an art head like me. And so at 16, 17, out 17 is where I tattooed somebody for the first time. I got a short apprenticeship. And so it was just the end of high school. All your friends are coming to you. And this is the period for me is Nike symbols, Nike Air, uh, their favorite sports teams,
Uh-huh.
San Francisco 49ers like on their ankle. And so it was a lot of fun during that period of time. And then I got a partial scholarship for art to go to Bowling Green State University.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of disappointed because my family was not able to contribute towards college in a meaningful manner. And they said that I had to figure something else out on my way. Like I had to do something else. And so I felt really disappointed. And I don't think that we were definitely not going to take out a loan to do it. So I chose the military. Actually, I feel like that kind of chose me a little bit. Meaning, when I went there, I was kind of slacking off. I was um,
Got it.
a
Is it
little
like
cocky.
was part of it too, like in response to the disappointment of, man, I can't do what I want, so might as well do this, and then almost just half-assing it kind of thing, or
Yes, 100%.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I loved the tattoo art, the craft that I was learning, like it was a good skill set. But I really didn't see a future in it yet. Instead, I decided to go to I took my ASVAB test. I scored really high, which I was super thankful for. And then I went to the Cleveland MEP Center for in processing and kind of talked to a drill. He seemed like a drill sergeant. He wasn't a drill sergeant, but boy, did he talk like it.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, he goes over my scores and he goes, "You are going to get in either intelligence, like that's a
Mm-hmm.
really great job, or a medical laboratory technician." Both, I
Hmm.
think mine required 2 years of schooling. So basically an associate's degree for
Yeah.
free. And I don't remember what the intelligence one was, but I was disappointed and just like you said, half-assing it and just said,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And
Huh.
then he gets up in my face. He goes, "Do you know how many cooks I turn out into the world or grunts?" He's like, "These are great opportunities. I need you to wake up." I think he said it a lot more harsh with that, with a few
I'm
swear words.
sure that he did not say it as gently as you are making it sound. I'm sure there was more
Correct.
colorful
Yeah.
language.
Uh,
But I
it
get
was very
it.
colorful. Scary
Uh-huh.
was the word. And
Mhm.
I felt like it just shook me. Like he spoke to me like somebody that cared about me at that moment, you know? And so I remembered that and I said, okay, sign me up. I'm gonna do the medical thing. I wanted to be medical anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought like, well, med tech, maybe there was some part of that part of you that thought, okay, similar kind of path.
Yeah. Well, what I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know, I ended up becoming a 91 Bravo, which at the time was a combat medic. And then you had to get your national registration for that, for the EMT, the basic EMT course, and then go up the hill in San Antonio and take your medical laboratory tech school.
Hmm.
And then we learned phlebotomy, chemistry, microbiology, the whole nine, hematology. And I had a lot of fun. Blood banking, I did that as well. So I did it for the career in the military. And that was several years. And then I was in New York when I processed out. And I finally came back home. And I remember thinking, man, that was pretty cool. I was a phlebotomist, I was really good at that. My patients, they loved me because I took the time with them. I was just cautious and patient and slow with what I was doing, and I made sure that I hit the van that we were in. I didn't like sticking babies. That really hurt my feelings, but you got to
Oh.
do it anyway,
Yeah, I mean
right?
that lip when babies get. I
Yeah.
remember my kids getting shots. I remember the lips sticking out and the crying. I can understand that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It breaks your
Mhm.
heart every time, but it's for their
Every
best.
time. Mhm.
Uh, and then I think I said I felt really smart in this. It's very fulfilling in that way. It was validating, but I don't feel fulfilled yet. And so something was lacking, and I was like, man, now what? That's scary. Now what?
Yeah. You hit a moment of needing a full career, kind of a career crisis of I'm not going forward in this, so what do I do?
Yeah. And part of me, when I came back, so I also I was married while I was in the military, and my wife was fully supportive of me doing tattoos for when I got out. And we did have a divorce, but she still to this day she talks about it. She goes, "You had the whole base interested in your tattoo work because I
Hmm.
carry this little portfolio around." She
Yeah.
says, "I'm not surprised that's where you went."
Yeah.
And it was very good. So I luckily stayed with my mom and dad as I'm in transition, and loved being home. I thought it was great to hang out with friends and reconnect. I got a job at a local factory, so doing factory work, and I loved it. I actually like pushing buttons and just doing something mechanical. Like that just felt calming to me. Have my music on and just go with the vibe, go with the flow. It was good. And I hit a moment where I was like, this isn't enough. What the heck? I don't even understand why it's not fulfilling is the word. And so even though I was content, right? Especially because my dad had done it for all his years, providing for
Yeah.
the family in the factory work setting. And if it was good enough for dad, why not? You know? And so I decided I was like, well, let me think about this, and I decided to get back into tattooing.
Okay.
I was at a point of all or nothing.
Okay. That's
I had
helpful to
graduated
know.
to
Yeah.
full commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how it's not fulfilling until you commit fully,
Mm.
right? Until
Mm.
there's no backup plan. Like you're going at this 110% or bust.
Mm-hmm. Burn the
I
ships,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm.
And I worked 3 jobs to make it happen. So one, I found a job part time at a tattoo shop. And I spent a couple months just toying around with my tattoo stuff, getting more familiar with stuff, creating really great designs that I felt confident with. And then I ended up moving into a tattoo shop in Findlay, Ohio, which was 20 minutes from my house. I worked at a refrigerator repair place, Danby, for the entire first shift. After work, I went to the tattoo shop. After the tattoo shop, I went to Best Buy and threw TVs onto the conveyor belt all
Yeah.
night on loading semis and stuff. And then I'd sleep for 4 hours. And it's what it took. It's you do whatever it takes to get the job done. And then I eventually got into the shop, settled down into it, got a rhythm, started learning some great things from the guy who mentored me. His name was Foot. Um, he
New
had
mentor,
two.
right?
Hmm?
Like new mentor, then the first person, I think you said his name was Jim. Second
Yep.
person. So, okay, you've had multiple mentors then.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And then over that period of time, I'm learning that I love sterility. Okay. After being in the military, coming into a tattoo shop where everybody's running it cleanly, that's for
Mm-hmm.
me. And
Mm-hmm.
Foot was very clean. Okay. He was very clean. And then I was like, I'm going to up his standard. And I decided that I eventually would work towards European standards, which are very high. And then I have found some people in the tattoo industry, probably 3 to 5 years later, that was
Mm.
passionate about bringing the tattoo industry up. And professionally, they wanted to see a lot more. And like me, they were like minded. They wanted to see more of our community feeling welcome at the tattoo studio and making sure that they're taken care of and safe. So a lot of community safety issues were addressed. And then they also were from the medical field, nurses and other specialties. And so they created it was called the Alliance of Professional Tattoo Artists. And I joined that group of people and I stuck with it for a very long time. Very ambitious. It wasn't till I got, I'd say about 10 years in before I was brave enough and had the courage to step out and open my own studio and put all of my wild imaginations, the wildest stuff out into the world, which was bold, very bold for me.
Well, it takes a lot of courage to open a business, and it's another career in a way. Being a business owner is different than just being a tattoo artist, so to speak. And so there's balance there that you have to find. And so it is a little bit scary to go, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this particular piece of the career path, and it is a risk, but similar to what you said, I imagine you had to go all in on it. And you said, if I'm going to do
Again,
this, I'm going all in, kind of thing.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
what I learned was a management piece, right? So I wasn't a manager when I decided to open a studio. I got the keys and I was a studio owner, but I had to grow in the management piece. I had to understand the inventory. I had to understand workflows. I had to understand conflict negotiation, or healthy confrontation, rather. I have to understand all the dynamics of the workplace and how to put people into structures that fit them and bring out their best selves. Like, you're really strong at this. We can work on your weaknesses, but we're most efficient when we stick to our strengths. While we work on our weaknesses, let's go far together. And so a lot of it is expanding the business and inviting people to the party, right? I want you to be a part of all this good stuff that we're experiencing, the creativity. It's like, I remember people talking about it and just saying, Lucky Rabbit was the spot. You guys were just bam. And I said, I'm hearing this now after I've closed it, and thankful. I'm like, I worked the entire time, and it's like I was working really hard, but everybody else was having a great time. I did too.
Just to jump in, I'm pretty sure, if I think back, I'm pretty sure I knew about Lucky Rabbit before I knew that you owned it. Like, I'm pretty sure that I did not know about it because of you. I was like, oh wait, he owns that? So yeah, it was well known in Muncie.
That's really cool. I got a gift. I call it a gift from my heart on closing. Was because it's ending a chapter, right? So you have this sadness but joy for the next, and the unexpected, that you don't know what to expect. The uncertainty, it stirs you a little. So I call the phone guy to turn off my AT&T, right? 20 years of service, it's almost 21, and I'm turning off the phone lines. Okay. So kind. I talked to the guy, and he goes, what's the name? Hey, what's your name? Daniel Stewart. What's your business? Lucky Rabbit. And he goes, wait, the Lucky Rabbit? I said, what?
The Lucky Rabbit. Oh. Mm-hmm.
The tattoo studio? And I said, yeah. No, man, I've been following your tattoo shop for years. Ever since you came to El Paso, I'm in Texas right now. And I used to tour all over the nation, and even like into Canada. And I used to like get published in Europe and in Mexico, and so around the world. And when I stopped by El Paso, I probably met a lot of people, and it was a great time. It was a great convention. I loved it. And I think that just inspired me a little bit. And I was so thankful. I said, well, thank you for following. I'm so grateful for you. You've made my day, really. And it's just the icing on the cake for closing it. Yeah. Way to leave. It was good.
That's an incredible story. I mean, I can't imagine how, I don't know, it would have felt like such a small world in that moment, but also at the same time, like, so reinforcing of, man, I had impacts beyond this space. And yeah, that's so amazing.
Oh, it was a good moment. If now, as I transition, now I'm getting the same. There's a friend that's popped up in my life. We used to work together at another tattoo studio. And he goes, Dan, most of my friends will call me Dan. But from back then, Dan, you've been wanting to open a private tattoo studio 15 years now. I remember talking about it outside in front of Lucky Rabbit. I said, are you kidding me? We had that conversation. He goes, yeah. And this is just another part of that dream, like, okay, now I'm doing the private tattoo studio that I always wanted. I'm happy. I'm excited because it's that one-on-one personal touch.
Yeah.
It's upscale in the way that you don't have a lot of people interrupting my concentration. As a business owner, you get my full attention 100%, which is one-on-one. And that's how I work. Like, I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That personal
Mm-hmm.
attention is like, yes, come in, have a cup of coffee. Let's sit down, talk about your tattoo. We're friends today. This is going to be great. And really, it does start a friendship for so many. We end up getting big tattoo sessions, and you're spending 20 plus hours with people, and you make friends with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And part of me wonders, because as you told this progression from where you started to where you are, and you had the moment out of high school where you could have gone straight to tattoo, but you didn't. And I'm really curious, would you change if you could? Would you go back and change it or not?
No,
Yeah, I didn't think
no,
so.
because that valuable piece of going what some people consider off track, that's not in line with your dream. That's not in alignment with what you're doing. And I'm like, well, actually, it was perfect because it multiplied my passions and then made my job that much stronger. Like the vision became fuller. And so that's why I tell people that they don't know where they're going, but maybe this is a good option. Try it out because you don't know how that's going to fall in line for you later. Like you're going to do great things. Just hold on. Just wait. It'll happen, you know? And so, really, I just love encouraging artists or anyone else that's a creative or anybody really that's trying to do their own business that settle down in it. Just wait for it to happen. Be patient, take your time, do things well, build on the basics, and continue to add to your business. And when it gets to be a little too much, take note, dial it back down a little bit. It's going to be okay. There's seasons where you can like grind if you have to, but set a limit on it. If you're like ours is tax season. Tax season is it's oh my, it's crazy. It's hectic. It's phone calls and emails out the wazoo.
Is it just people saying like, "Oh, I got a refund check, so I'm going to get a tattoo"? Is that what it is?
Everybody's got money in their pocket, so they're like,
I
"Here,
love it.
have it, take it." And so
Mm-hmm.
I love to help, but I have limits now. At 20, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll work all night long, whatever you need." And I've learned that it's better, like with family situations and whatnot, you want to try to strive for a balance there. Let me back off a little bit and learn to say no and set a weekly limit. And it's really helped me sustain that. It's made it sustainable for that long career. So, but when it's it's strange when you get to a point where you're like doubting because you have cycles of that where you're like, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right things? Do I have enough? Am I enough? Is this really what's going to happen for me? Like, stay locked in, stay focused, have your list, knock it out, and consistency over perfection. Just stick with it. Failures are lessons, use them, and just keep trucking. And then most times, even within the relationships that you build around you, I think you're going to stick with the people that lift you up and say, they have a little grace for your life. They're like, hey, you know what? You missed it this time, but we're going to get it next time. It's going to be okay. And build those mentors into your life. You can find really good mentorship in the world, positive people that are going to back you. They want the best for you. They want you to succeed. They want you to do more than you can imagine. And, that's what I want for everybody too.
It's so interesting because when you talk about, consistency over completion, or just that space of it's the process, not the product, and all of those kind of like phrases that we might use. But at the end of the day, like there are moments where we question, am I in the right spot? Should I maybe just change paths now? But your story, man, your story shows that even those moments of something different still were moments moving forward. And honestly, I think of like the I think it was probably a recruiter, not a drill sergeant, but probably a recruiter who basically said, you're gonna have to shape up, kind of thing, and really a little bit of fear into you of figuring something out.
To be
You
fair, I
needed
think
it
his
in
next
that moment.
job would have been drill sergeant.
I
I believe that.
I believe that too. But I don't think you would have taken tattoo work seriously if it hadn't been for the encounter with him of telling you to get your shit together, you
It
know?
was the right
And
time. It was the right guy. Is the way I needed to hear
yeah.
it. It was hard,
Yeah.
right? He was
Mhm.
harsh because
Mhm.
breaking through wasn't going to be easy to me at that point. Yeah, I needed someone to cut through my emotions
Yeah.
and get real with me,
Yep.
and he did.
I mean, I think the military taught you the all-in mindset. Like I
Yes,
really do. And so without that, I don't think you would have had the drive or the what's the word? Like just the push to say, "No, I got to go all in. I can't half-ass this. I need to go all
it's.
in."
I think a lot of people try to find the words motivation, but it's always discipline, right?
Discipline, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Mhm.
And the reason is when you're in the military, you're in a mindset that we're on task for the mission. Okay, we all have a mission. And sometimes we get sidetracked by a boundary or a wall or something gets in the way, blocks our path, or just sets us in an emotional down like spiral. I don't know what's going on. But the ones they teach us to keep our head and stay detached emotionally for a minute, survey what's around you, pivot, find a waypoint, and then get to the destination. Just never quit getting there. Because you can do this 18 times and you'll get to your destination if you don't quit. You're on task. Just stay focused. You're gonna be fine. Stay disciplined to the end result, and then that'll calm you. And I think that's true for me. That is a mindset that I have cherished.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I hear, as silly as it may sound, is that all of the different careers that you have done have had pieces of interest to you, but not the whole until you stepped into the work that you do now. Even something as silly as you said, just pushing buttons and being able to listen to music. What popped into my head in that moment is like, you like listen to music when you do tattoo art and and that kind of thing. Like you're watching episodes, you're listening, like that, even that tiny piece. Like if somebody were to come to me, they're like, I need a job that gives me these things. And then I ask about what did you like in your previous work? If you're like, oh, I liked listening to music, I'd add that to the list. I'd think, no, you need a job where you can have something running in the background while you do the work. Um, every piece was there, and then you got back into it, and it was all the pieces in one place.
Well, it was funny. When I think about me being raised as a kid, I spent a lot of time in my room as an artist with the Sony Discman tape player,
Uh-huh.
playing press and record to our radio stations, trying to get a mixtape for this
Oh,
next
yeah.
sweet girl
Oh,
that's
yeah.
come,
Mhm.
whatever. The girl in sixth period was totally hot. I'm going to make her a mixtape.
Oh.
And so music was life at that point. We didn't have a lot of stuff. It's just music was life. And then we got, this is after homework and I'm sitting up there drawing and that's good. I had Boy Scouts, but that's a different story. And then what's funny is even those pieces come back because there's a lot I learned through Boy Scouts. Um, Giving back is important. So the community merit badge that they award you, you learn how important it is to give back to community in a certain way and to make that a piece of your heart. Like with your business, it's like it's not complete until we do this, and you find a cause to support. That came back for me. There was the music is always there. So now it kind of changes a little bit, but it's not far from acoustic classic rock mix. It's really chill. It allows people to relax. But you're right. Like my love for music, low drama. Like I want to introvert a little bit. Um, Here's an interesting piece that I don't know that many people knew about is I actually started going back to school to be a therapist. So
Yeah,
we don't talk.
I think I remember that actually. I think you and
Okay.
I had talked about it at least once, but no, I don't think most people know that.
So I think there's this switch mid-career. It's like your midlife crisis where you're on the right path. You're doing good things, but maybe a switch can happen that'll improve it some more. And that piece, it didn't fall in place for me. And I'm thankful. That's another part of the journey where the other pieces fell in place and it's good. This is one that fell to the wayside for whatever reason. And I wasn't passionate about it. I was for a time. I loved it for a time. But today, I can see now that opening the smaller business that I have is perfect for me. And so it's made me a better business owner overall. The therapy piece has helped me actually be a better management
Oh,
oriented
sure.
person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can kind of stay resolute and dig into the details with people and listen really clearly, ask better questions, understand their whys, get and navigate back to the mission again really quickly, and not really disrupt the piece too much. And so I love that aspect of it. So that was good. Another piece of business ownership, right? Just adds to your tool bag.
Yeah. Well, it's actually such a good point too, where you thought you were connecting the dots of, yeah, I really enjoy helping people. I enjoy talking with people. And so it made sense to pursue that route, but it wasn't the right fit and it didn't work out. And I, it's something that a lot of people run into because a lot of people think inside of those boxes of, well, I like helping people, so I go into a helping profession. But in reality, there's so much more around that. And what I love hearing with your story and everybody else's stories is that no, you get to do that helping people in a lot of different ways. And sometimes
Yes.
it doesn't fit in that box. It is outside of that box, and that is absolutely okay.
What the piece that I found the most dynamic is think about tattoos that you get when you're suffering, like you're grieving, right? And I've had lost people in my life. And to be tender with someone that says, hey, I just went through a loss. I had cancer, or someone in my family had cancer, or blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on. These are hard feelings where your emotions get messy. You don't know what's what. And sometimes you just need somebody to hold that space and listen and say, no, I get this. This sucks. It's hard. This is hard, but you're going to be okay. Like you got the people around you. I'm here to support you right now in the moment. And usually that's all they need. It's that redirect, it's going to be okay. And I think psychology, like understanding that piece of it and trying to get it, the degree, silenced my brain.
Mm.
My wanderings gave me peace, like, because I'd have things where maybe this is out of my control. And a lot of us have these issues. And I think it just quieted it down enough to where I could focus on what I'm supposed to do. And it was even more pure. So it's going to integrate fully with you. Every step of the way, every misstep is going to integrate fully into your person. And it's just growth. And it's good growth. That stuff's great for relationship. Every relationship actually flourishes because of that. So I'm happy for that misstep. The last one is I got a lot of practice building businesses. I started volunteering for a man who built greenhouses,
Mhm.
aquaponics. And I was like, man, I'm going to try to build a business out of this. I'm going to try to build a business plan. And even though I had struck gold with Lucky Rabbit, part of my heart wanted to make something happen with food because healthy food's important. Okay. It helps people. This man has quite a story um, where he was trying to solve the problem of schizophrenia, and healthy food actually resolved some of the issues. The stuff that he was growing, I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. And I
I may
said,
need you to hook me up with him so that I can have him on the podcast too, because it sounds fascinating.
it's amazing. It's astounding. He's a great dude.
Hmm.
So then he started talking to me about it, and I got passionate about all the people he was helping. And I thought, man, I could do this. Could help people, right? Very helpful business. And I was very passionate about healthy food and still am today. I love the idea of healthy food, nutrients, macros. I'm into it. Big into it. But nutrition is probably my favorite part of my day. As is most people, right? Oh, wait, that's different. Never mind. Um, but what I learned was a base of how to budget everything out specifically for the business plan. I'd already done a business plan creatively for Lucky Rabbit, and it felt like I struck gold too easy. With the greenhouse, I had to work for it. So I had to build out all that structure and figure everything out. And, I was around some really great other business owners at the time who kind of helped build me up too and gave me a better knowledge. So there's a community of small business owners that really helped me out and made me better at being a business owner. Just a better person in general. And last year, no, it was a couple years ago. I'd say it'd be about 2 years ago. I got an offer because I do really good barbecue. It's a hobby. And then that took off into me buying a trailer smoker and smoking hogs like my pitmaster uncle and my dad. They used to do it together, right? And, and so I was like, well, my brain thinks in businesses. Well, it's out. I need to get that idea and flush it out and build a business with it. Instead, I got an offer to open a barbecue in a wedding venue. So a person I had tattooed had just opened a wedding venue. They purchased it. They said, would you like to come alongside and build a kitchen for us, and we'll put your barbecue on the back end? This is after he tasted my food. And I said, let me get back to you with this. Build out the business plan. I'd say I spent maybe a month on it, and then that fell through also. But what I realized was I didn't feel comfortable about managing it anymore. When I got to the end of that, it was peace because I was like, think about this. I was in a one-person studio with no other people except my client. And then here's this other gift of another business, which is a lot of fun, but the pressure, the stress that you're under, it's a lot. Managing people who don't show up if you're hiring a lot of younger people is hard because guess who steps up? You do. You do. You usually, before you get rid of the person,
business.
You have to,
yeah.
It's your business.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take that on anymore. I was at peace with where I was at. And I said, you know what? I'm thankful for it. I've got this. And so I backed up and I said, no, thanks. Appreciate the offer. And what was good for me was just going through that process. I needed the process to settle down into my niche. And so now, till retirement, I imagine, or another redirection, probably till retirement is what I'm hoping, I'm going to be fine. This is just where I need to be.
Yeah. It shows the growth too. You went through that process of the business plan and getting ready to go. And in this part of the journey, I know you said it fell through, but this was a different moment where you also recognized it and stepped back and said, you know what? I'm good. And it shows the progression of your story where before things kind of had to fall away for you. But in this moment, like you were able to see it and step back. And I love that. I love hearing that part too.
There's a lot of growth.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever had to step back from something and realized maybe this isn't a good fit for me?
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that actually a lot with my business now. And I've had to kind of say, you know what, like all the directions that everybody tells me, they're not the direction I want to go. And full disclosure, this podcast, this is something that I absolutely love because I get to just talk to people. And I still am absolutely a therapist and help people with careers. And I
Yeah.
love those parts. But what I was being told to do was things like create coaching programs and expand your business and hire people. I'm like,
Yes.
I do that stuff. Like, I just don't. And so I followed what people were telling me for a while until I burnt out. And I turned around and said, yeah, no, this is not my path. And it took some people in my life to basically give me permission and say, you don't have to do it the way everybody is telling you. Um, so that's where we're at now. And the podcast was born out of somebody saying, do the thing that you want to do. And so,
Yeah, absolutely. I feel similar with mine, even down to like, there's been several things that I've had to back away from where I would do it by the book, but there is no book with your dreams. Like, a mentor can come in and tell you recommendation, but they don't understand what a good fit is for you. There's discipline for only so much, right? You can tick all the boxes. This is what I'm saying, like, specifically. If I'm going to use my social media plan where there's so many that you have to do per week and make sure,
yeah.
I have stepped away from that completely. At the beginning of my business, I had the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now I check in with myself at the end of the day. It's about wellness. It's about peace. It's about meeting my own needs and being reserved on days I need to be reserved, and celebrating with others. This is a celebration with the community, right? Celebrating with others as needed. Hey, this is great. This is a really special piece. I'm going to put it out for everybody to view. It's not a daily grind anymore. And I have peace in that.
Yeah, there's a book, I forget who wrote it, but it's called From Strength to Strength. And it talks about kind of the two phases in life. And that in the first initial phase of our lives, it's like a canvas. And we have the canvas to paint on. We can put whatever we want on that canvas, and it is ours to create. And then we hit the second phase of our life and it becomes a sculpture. And instead of it being what are we adding to this canvas, it's what are we taking away to make this what we want it to be. And I absolutely loved that metaphor. It has stuck with me for a very long time, ever since I read that book. But
it's so true and so good. Because I keep thinking about that. I'm getting more pure as I age, where, like you said, it's taking away the clay and just saying, what sticks? We got all this fluff on there from experimenting and having fun earlier. Let's strip it down, and what are the basics? What do we need? Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. I think I actually heard it in a sermon first. Pastor used the book as reference, and I go, oh, I need to read that book now. And then I read the book, so I reference it from the book because
Nice.
that's where it came
from. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I know there's so much gold in this conversation for people to take away, but at the end of the day, I also just appreciate talking to you and getting to hear your story even more, just learning more about you every time we talk. So
thank you so much. Yeah. I've learned a lot about myself on this road, and I'm sure you and everyone else will, to just keep focused on that point and keep going.
yeah. Is there, really quickly before we end, is there any ways that people can be in touch with you as you open your private studio if they did want to get a tattoo? Or are there things that ways people could find you?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. The first one is through the website. So it's www.signaturerose.art. That's A-R-T, art. And then also it's Signature Rose Art, like the @ symbol, Signature Rose Art, for my Instagram handle. And both I'll be able to
I'll put
reach
them in
out.
the show notes. Yeah. I'll make sure they're in the show notes so
Thank
that
you.
people can just click
Yeah.
the links to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be happy to share this episode around too. That'd be great too.
Yeah. Well, I always love when people share the episode, but I think more so because of the fact that it's valuable. It's a valuable story that you've shared. And especially the part of, hey guys, like keep is so it's very cliche, but like the keep moving forward. Like you are in the space of where you need to be, and every part of your journey teaches you something. So what part of Dan's story stood out to you the most? For me, it was definitely being able to hear that he wouldn't regret going away from being a tattoo artist back into it, that he wouldn't regret those pivots along the way because each part helped him solidify the joy of what he does. That was so cool for me to hear. I didn't know that he could have started right from high school, but he didn't. And that's the beautiful thing about career paths. They don't have to be a straight line, and neither does yours. Yours does not have to be a straight line. But if you're curious about some of those out of the box careers that exist out there, and you want me to try and find someone in that realm, leave a comment below with that job, just like one word to represent that job, and I will do what I can to find somebody with that job title. And that they love what they do, of course. And until next time, take care.